Hey, I'm Kayla, the Booktube Turtle. So I recently discovered that there is an Authortube Newbie Tag. It's similar to like the Booktube Newbie Tag, but it's for writers. I didn't know that existed, but I recently found out through Kelly's channel, World of Kel, which I'll link below. Question 1 is, how did you find out about Authortube? So I'm not really sure. Like, I knew that Authortube was a thing before like I knew about the tag or anything like that. I think it was probably through Booktube, because there's a lot of people on Booktube who are also a part of Authortube because they also write, and I just started following writing related channels. I follow Jenna Moresi, Shaylin's channel, Shaylin Writes, and The Word Nerds. So yeah, I just kind of started following writing related channels. Question 2 is, what genre do you write in? So my current series is dystopian, and I really love writing in that genre, but I also have a lot of pretty solid ideas for books that are in like all kinds of different genres. I have like a fantasy idea, I have a couple fantasy ideas actually, and then a contemporary idea, and I'm just kind of all over the place genre-wise. I mean, really, I'd probably write in any genre as long as like the idea for the actual story was solid enough that I could get an actual book out of it. Question 3, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? So for tense, I prefer past tense. I've tried writing in present tense a few times, and I kept accidentally changing back to past tense, so I was like, past tense it is. For point of view, I actually prefer first person now. Back in like middle school when I was writing that first like really long series that didn't go anywhere, that was actually in third person, but personally I feel like first person is easier for me because it helps me like get closer to the characters and like better understand them. But I mean, a lot of times I feel like it also kind of depends on like the genre and the situation of your book. Like a lot of high fantasy books are in third person, and I am planning like a high fantasy duology, and I think that one is going to be in third person because there's like 3 different perspectives that aren't intertwined at all, and that's going to be confusing if it's in first person. So yeah. And for category, and by that it means like YA, new adult, middle grade, that kind of thing, I'm kind of all over the place with this one too. My current dystopian series is YA, but I have another idea for a dystopian series that's new adult, and I have a book that's magical realism, which I think is like a type of fantasy, and that one's middle grade, so I'm all over the place. Question 4, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? So this, if you don't know, basically means how much outlining do you do. I am definitely a plotter. I outline, and I have like a whole outlining system. I'm gonna do a whole video about outlining, but basically I'm very detailed. I have like a whole like initial outline. It's like a flow chart where it's like 1 or 2 words and then an arrow and then another couple words and then an arrow that like outlines the very broad topics throughout the book. And then I have a basic outline. I use like the 3-act structure where you outline each section of the book, and then from there I break it down by chapter, and then I make like a bulleted list of everything that happens in that chapter. It's been really helpful, and I feel like it's basically gotten rid of writer's block. If I think things through ahead of time, then you always know what's coming next. I know a lot of people don't like outlining because they think that there's no room to change things, and like there is, because once I get to like the halfway point of my book, I reevaluate the rest of my outline and then like basically outline the rest of it again, like making changes, because by the time I get to there, things have changed. Question 5, are you published, self-published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published, but it is my goal to one day be published. I also really want to work in the publishing industry in some way, either editing manuscripts or marketing. Like, I'm going to college for that. I'm majoring in business marketing. So, you know, either the editing side or the business side of publishing industry, I want to be involved with books somehow. Question 6. If you are not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? So I don't actually have an answer for this one. I haven't thought too much about it, and I haven't really done much research because there's just so many options. I've tried to do research before and it was very overwhelming. Question 7. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? I already have a video up about my writing history and my current series, and I've also said this before, but I do want to do like a whole series of writing videos going from initial idea to final product and like all of the steps along the way of that. Question 8. When did you start writing? This is a long answer. Basically, I've been writing stories since I was like 6 or something, and I was like physically able to write things. If you want a more in-depth answer, you can check out my writing history video, but that goes from like me starting out as a writer up to where I'm currently at. Question 9. What was the first story you ever wrote? The first chapter book I ever wrote was called The Secret, which I talk about in my history video. Question 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? I'd say definitely J.K. Rowling. When I read Harry Potter for the first time in 6th grade, it completely changed my life. And like, I wanted to write something that would make other people feel the way I felt when I read that. That was like, because that was around the time that I started like my first series or whatever. And that's when I was really like, okay, I want to do this. I want to write a book. I want to get a book published one day. So yeah. Also, Cassandra Clare and Sarah J. Maas, because their stories and their characters are so intricate and complex and just amazing. And I'm like, the worlds that they've built are incredible. Like, I'm not much of a world building person. That's harder for me. I'm more like character driven. So just everything. It's just amazing. Question 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you find the time? I do write whenever I can find the time, but sometimes if I know ahead of time that I'm gonna have free time, I'll decide that I'm going to use like X amount of time for writing, or that like I want to get this amount of words written or this amount of chapters edited or something like that. Question 12. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? So for actual writing, I use my laptop. Random notes I write down in a notebook that I have designated for each project. So like I have a notebook that's just for my current series. If I'm out somewhere and I don't have that with me, I'll just use like the notes section on my phone. I've also written out like entire scenes in my notebook before. If it's like something that happens like 2 books away from where I'm at in the series, then I'll just like jot it down really fast, especially if I feel like I don't have enough time to like get my laptop up and running before I like forget things. As far as where I write, I usually write in my room on my bed. Though when I was in school, I had to take my laptop to school with me anyway. So like if I ever had a free couple of minutes, you know, I would write. That was rare though, because homework like was my entire life. And I recently discovered that I am extremely productive when I write in the car. I went on vacation with my family a little bit ago and I took my laptop with me, and it was like 5 to 6 hour car trip, and I got like 6,000 words written on the way there, and then like another 1,000 on the way back because I didn't write the whole time. But like that's the most I have ever written in a single day ever, and I didn't get car sick or anything, which was surprising because I can't read in the car, which is sad. But it was great. It was a great writing day. Question 13. What are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? I mean, I feel like this is kind of the same as like my booktube version answer of this. I mean, I get to talk about writing, which I love as much as I love reading, and just connecting with other writers. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a writer, feel free to do this tag and let me know if you do it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!